Welcome to our virtual Sport and Exercise Medical Sciences Offer Holder Visit Day. My name's Dr. Clare Gallen and I'm the Programme Lead for Sport and Exercise Medical Sciences, and I'm also the Deputy Director for Medical Sciences Programmes. So I'll be here hosting the session today, and I'll also be available to take questions live online during the day. So first off, I want to give you a warm welcome to Exeter, our St Luke's campus, our medical school, and also from Sport and Health Sciences. So I want to congratulate you for receiving an offer, and I want you to think today, while we're having our virtual offer holder day, whether this kind of environment would suit you as a learner, and whether you'd enjoy being a student here. So get the chance today to speak to some students online, listen to their presentations as well as to mine, and really consider whether studying here with our blended type of learning across two different colleges, the Sport and Health Sciences College and the medical school, is the right place for you. All university study requires a step up and a transition from what you've done before to becoming an independent learner. That doesn't mean that you're going to be left alone, but it means that you're going to have to develop your own independent study skills, and we'll be able to do that with you from the beginning in our small group settings. So in about a quarter of your year each year, you'll be learning in a small group environment in problem-based learning. So that's where you'll learn your top to toe human function, and also what can go wrong with human function and how to treat it. And that's a great opportunity for you, which I'll talk about later, to study together in small teams and also to learn how to become an independent research scientist. So what is Sports and Exercise Medical Sciences? We are a collaboration between our two departments, very successful departments on the St Luke's campus of the University of Exeter. So it's a collaboration between Sport and Health Sciences and the medical school. And we've really built on the excellence of both of these departments when we built this programme. So year one is core, and you will study in the medical school with students from other courses. So you'll study with the medical sciences students and the neuroscience students. And in the Sport and Health Sciences department, you'll get to study with the exercise and sports scientists, for example. You will learn everything from exercise physiology, nutrition for sport and for recovery, and biomechanics, all the way to top-to-toe human function, from molecules to cells to bodily systems. And you'll also, as you move into second year and beyond, think about what can go wrong with those processes. And as a science programme, it is very practical, and you can see here people, some of the students on this programme investigating their physiology during an exercise, using the sports vitalographs available in the Sport and Health Sciences laboratories. You can also see students here working in small groups and also in some of the basic science laboratories that you will also get to work in. So it is very interdisciplinary. It's a relatively unique programme, and it really is a very niche programme. We accept only 20 students in each academic year. So in year one, as I mentioned, it's core, and you will be learning with other students from different programmes. So in the medical school, you will learn core skills that will help you throughout your time here at Exeter, core skills in statistics and in tapping into the published research, looking at the databases, interpreting those research papers, and writing your first scientific literature review. In the integrated human physiology module, that's a quarter of your year. These are two big modules, and in that module you'll be doing problem-based learning, looking at core human function, and you'll be going through all the bodily systems, from the heart, the lungs, the reproductive tract, and you'll be able to apply those, the neuroscience and immunology, and you'll be able to apply those disciplines to your areas of sport and exercise physiology. In the Sports and Health Sciences department, you'll be looking at the background knowledge to help you understand that element of your programme. So you'll be looking into biomechanics and gait analysis, you'll be looking into sports psychology, nutrition and metabolism, and also physiology. So year one, as I said, is core, and as you go through the programme, there are other core modules that build on what you've learnt in year one. And as you go into second year and final year, you'll start to have options, and you'll be able to take modules in different disciplines, either in Sport and Health Sciences or in medical sciences. So for example, you could get focused in neuroscience, or you could take more psychology modules in sport and health sciences. And as you go through the programme, you will also build on those core research skills to enable you to do a research project. And in the final year, the only module that is core is the research project, and that can be a 45 credits or a 30 credits, and each academic year at university is 120 credits. So it's quite a big chunk of your final year. That research project could be in sport and health sciences, or it could be in the medical school, and it will really be based on the research specialities within those departments. So you'll be working with research teams in those departments. For the first time this academic year, students got to work on a simulation of adventure medicine first aid, which would really help them thinking about sports and travel medicine later on. It was part of the course fee. You don't pay that additional fee, don't worry about that. And these aren't real injuries. It is a complete simulation, but it feels like you're immersed in this environment. They take over the St. Luke's campus for the weekend and have a disaster scenario actually happen with live actors who've got makeup to look like they've been injured. And you will learn basic life support and also things about how to treat wounds and how to measure how serious they are during that session. And the students really, really enjoyed that interactive session when they had the opportunity to do that. Throughout your time in sport and exercise medical sciences, you work in different environments. So you will have large group lecture settings, but you'll also work in smaller groups, laboratory practicals, where you learn basic molecular techniques and also sports physiology practicals. You'll also get the opportunity, as I said, to work in small groups, and here you can see students doing that, talking together and supporting each other as they work through some cases built on human function. Throughout your time here, you will have an academic who's assigned to you to be your academic tutor, and they will understand the programme that you're on, with it being a niche programme, and they'll also be able to signpost you to support from other places within the university. So their role is to help you understand your progress and how to build on that progress as you go through the course, and also to think about the careers that are available to you. With it being a very multidisciplinary degree, and from second year and final year, you can really focus on the areas of those two disciplines that interest you. There's a wide range of careers that are available to you, and it can be quite overwhelming to think about all of these different career opportunities. So the academics who's your academic tutor will be able to help support you with that. We also have dedicated career support, both at the university level, but also personally on a degree level. We also have two academics who are specially trained to help you with your careers. So while we're thinking about Exeter, always think about independent learning. It's very common for all university degrees to step up to that level, but we do an awful lot of small group learning, particularly that module that's a quarter of the year, the integrated human physiology in year one. You'll be working in small teams, and you'll be using cases or trigger cases that could be patient information leaflets, it could be a video of a patient speaking about their disease, it could be some patient test results, or it could be something published in the literature or in the media about a disease. The idea is that you have access to those cases on the electronic learning environment. You get to discuss them in your team and think about what you already know. So you discuss your prior knowledge, and then as a team you set SMART questions. SMART is a terrible acronym from the business school. It means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely. But what it really means for you as a student is, how do you write a great question that means you are not spending a disproportionate amount of time on this module, that you can get the answer relatively easily from the resources available to you, and you know when you've finished answering it. That makes it achievable and measurable as well as smart. That's what being a scientist about. A scientist isn't a walking textbook. You are not Google or Wikipedia. You are somebody who can apply your learning and your knowledge to new situations and think up new hypotheses and new questions that can really drive the field forward. Doing small group learning is fantastic because it develops other skills that are really important for your employability later on after you graduate. So you'll learn how to work as a team, you'll also learn how to research independently, you'll be able to build your confidence in those small group settings and increase your contribution. So why do we learn that way? I've just mentioned all those soft skills you'll be learning to make you a skilled and employable graduate, building your presentation and confidence skills, your leadership, because you'll get to lead those teams and take turns doing that. It's also be hopefully stimulating and fun to learn that way, learning from each other and having that confidence to say, actually, I don't understand that. Can we go a bit more slowly on that particular topic? Is a great way to build a stimulating learning environment that you will remember all the way through to next year, next term. It's also very research-like. So that's what scientists do. They look at evidence and they build what we know from the evidence and data presented to them, and they change their understanding based on the evidence presented. So it gets you to think about problems and scientific inquiry and being critical. Exeter, we're a Russell Group institution. So that means we're one of the 24 top quality research institutions in the UK. As a student here at Exeter, you're going to be a junior partner in that research community, both here in the medical school and in sport and health sciences. And all the way through your degree, you'll get that opportunity to really think like a scientist and understand the evidence. It doesn't mean that we're training you to be a researcher, which you could of course do later on if you wanted to as you go on to graduate, but it means that you're thinking like a scientist and you're understanding the evidence and being able to access that evidence that's already been published and be critical about it. So from year one, doing your problem-based learning, to working and doing your first literature review, to then thinking about going into your second year and building on that to do a more advanced project. As you go into the optional professional training year that happens between your second and your final year, you'll get to really test those in a real working environment, those research skills that you've been developing. That's an optional year, but every student will have the opportunity to do a research project in their final year. And as I mentioned, that's the only core module in sport and exercise medical sciences in the final year. So you've got quite a lot of flexibility to build your programme in final year and really focus on the research project that interests you, whether that's in sport and health sciences, whether that's in disciplines such as psychology, in exercise physiology, in nutrition, or whether it's in some of the disciplines of medical sciences, in genetics, in neuroscience. In diabetes research, in health research and economics of healthcare. I mentioned the professional training year. This is entirely optional, but I really want to stress that we try to encourage flexibility in our degree. So we really strongly recommend that students, even those students who take the 3-year programme, really consider it during year one, because we allow full flexibility of students to transfer into the professional training year or come off it if they don't feel it's appropriate for them. It's between years, the second year and the final year of the programme, and it gives a real insight into what it might be like to work in a research environment. So that's in a university or in a research institute in industry, for example. And it can happen anywhere in the world. We do have a catalogue of projects offered by our academics here in Exeter, but we also have a few links each year, and they change every year how many links we have with outside researchers. But we also strongly encourage you to take this opportunity to apply for and approach areas of research and researchers with throughout the world who are whose research is interesting to you. So this is an opportunity for you to have a go at making that first transition into applying for your own position. And it's a supported application. We have templates of how to make that first approach, flyers, for example, that have all the details of what the professional training year is. You also have support from your academic tutor while you're away on professional training year, and 2 academics and an administrator who one of their lead roles is to work on the professional training year. And we've had students go all over. We've had students staying here in Exeter on sport and exercise medical sciences, doing research into health economics and also into neuroscience and psychology, and thinking about how addiction influences the way they work in sport. We've also had students go to places like the University of Cape Town in South Africa. This is actually our only second year of graduates, so we've only had 1 year of students on who've come back from professional training year in sport and exercise medical sciences. So that student who went to Cape Town, he was studying rugby injuries and how they impact on the brain. So you can really go where the interest takes you. And it does add that extra glamour and glitter to your CV, as I call it. employers are really increasingly looking for not just a degree, they're looking on how you can apply that degree and how you can work in a working environment. Often get asked about assessment, and I think the key thing with assessment is that your knowledge and skills and all the skills that are important to be a scientist will be assessed at some point, and each module is assessed in different ways. Some are entirely coursework, whereas some have a mixture of coursework and exams. And a kind of general rule of thumb is that most modules have 60% final exam, whether that's in January if it's a term 1 module, or in May if it's a term 2 or a term 1 and term 2 module. And as you develop through the programme, the level of complexity of these assessments increases, and you get to build on the feedback that you've got, so that we become absolutely confident that we've assessed you at different stages and different skills, and that your degree classification is a real summary of what you're like as a graduate. This will be our second year of graduating students in sport and exercise medical sciences, so we don't have a lot of data about where our students go, and with it being a course of only 20 students, we only graduated 7 last year, and then some of them were on professional training year, and we'll be graduating about 20 this academic year. So we're still trying to work out where our students go, but we fully anticipate they'll be able to go to disciplines in sport and health sciences, and also in medical sciences and outside of science. These are real places that students either on our medical sciences or students in the sport and exercise medical sciences programme who graduated last year have gone to. So you can go into further study to do clinical degrees such as medicine and dentistry, and two of our students last year went to medicine and one into physiotherapy from the sport and exercise medical sciences programme. You can also carry on in postgraduate research, going on to do masters, and those don't have to be masters in science. You can also do masters in entrepreneurism and business, for example, and also go on to do research degrees, a PhD, or into teacher training. One of our students in the final year of sport and exercise medical sciences has got a placement for Teach First next academic year. These are real places that students on the medical sciences programme have gone, and we've had many years of graduates on medical sciences, so we've got some good data there. So students have gone into NHS management, into sales and communication, and also into graduate schemes in areas such as finance and business. And we would fully expect our students to be able to really focus on the sports side of their programme and really get into things like nutrition and that side of physiotherapy, for example. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation today. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask our admissions team, who are available through these contacts on this slide. Today I'll be here taking questions, and so will some of our students, so please take the opportunity to ask us any questions and really put us on the spot today. And I hope to be able to welcome you all in September. Take care, best of luck, bye.